Hi everyone, I'm Brock. So
Done.
the book I want to review today is called 大逃杀 by Royale. The first time I read this book is, I think, in 2014. At that time, the game Backgrounds, 绝地求生, hasn't been published yet. Sometimes I find it's pretty fascinating that, a book, a world created by languages can be converted into a movie, animation, TV drama, or games to visualize it. Although this book itself is pretty dark, it actually makes me think about another book called The Lord of Flies, 银王, but The Lord of Flies doesn't have too many deaths and killing as this book. So the first time I read this book, is actually make me feel very uncomfortable. So, and the author is also very interesting. This is his only novel. However, to make him has a place on literature field. So Battle Royale, published in 1990 by 高见广春, Kosong Takami. Its premise: 42 junior high classmates forced to slaughter on another on an isolated island until only one remains, sent shockwaves through East Asian literature. The setting is the fictional Republic of Great East Asia, a totalitarian, fascist state modeled loosely on a hyper-militarist alternate Japan. It practiced the semi-isolationism, bans rock music and anti-government thought, and each year selects 50 third-year junior high classes nationwide to practice in Vital Experiment number 68 program. Infamously a national defense exercise, in truth, a true or positive terror. So it should provide so for those hard words, it should provide a fabric symbol, like this one. What's this? Controversy. It reached the final round but was rejected for its controversial content decrepit junior high school children forced to kill one another. The timing coincided with the 1997 Cobb child murder case. What's this? That's horrible. But why? Why he want to do this? It's horrible. Only 5 years? That's he only okay. Oh no, 7 years. He's only put in prison for 7 years. I guess I guess that if a teenager has such issues, we need to think about what kind of family environment he grew up as well. Because as a parents, nothing happen from 0 to 1. Everything from 0 to 1.1, uh, 0.2, and finally 1. and the parents as the most close people to the children, they should know. And they have the opportunity to know. Battle Royale founded its eponymous narrative genre. This word is also hard and should provide phonetic symbols. Film, Battle Royale, manga, literature, The Hunger Games, film, TV drama, dance, K-drama, Squid Game, video games, PUBG, Battleground, Fortnite. Stephen King praised the novel as an insanely entertaining half reef. Susan Collins delights having read Battle Royale before writing The Hunger Games, but most critics agree it laid the general foundation. Uh, although it's dark, but we cannot deny that it has a very strong impact on the culture industry. Kushi Takami was born in 1969. When he wrote the book, he's only 30 years old. Grew up in Kagawa Prefecture on Shikoku Island, the very region where Battle Royale is set. After resigning in 1996, Takami completed Battle Royale with the obsessive precision of a former reporter. Yet, since then, he has not released a single completed novel, a one-book author status nearly unheard of in Japanese literature. He has occasionally written short pieces and manga commentaries, but maintained a famously low profile, with fans joking that his next novel is perpetually being written, perpetually unfinished. You know, I used to think that as time went by, we became more and more capable and can over, you know, overpass our previous achievements. But now I gradually realize that you never know which point will become your peak of your career or even life. So every moment might be the highest moment or the lowest moment in your life. So unpredictable. Literature style or mid-sign narration. Timestamp method, black humor, pop culture allusions, dystopian realism. The 1990s in Japan are marked by bursting of economic bubble, the Kobe earthquake in 1995, the Tokyo subway sarin gas attack, and the 1997 Kobe child murder case. Japanese society's combined fear of juvenile crime and the distrust of state institutions fertilized the soil for battle royale. The Great East Asia sighting is also hybrid of Soviet-era nostalgia and anti-fascist parody. An, an alternate history, Japan, in which the imperialist regime never fell. I can imagine how hard it is for such a book to be published. The novel is divided into 4 parts spanning 122 chapters, including a prologue, zero, and an epilogue, each short and tight, a few lines to a few thousand characters. Every chapter sealed with ex-student remain, the chilling refine of television's death count. Plot summary. Prologue. The bus trap. On a May night in 1997, the 42 third-year students, 21 male, 21 female of Class 3B from Shirova Junior High in Kagawa Prefecture board a bus for what they believe is a graduation trip to Kyushu. Mid-route, the driver drowns an oxygen mask. Sleeping gas floods the cabin, and everyone passed out. They wake in an abandoned schoolhouse on an isolated island, each locked into an unremovable metal column. Part 1. The announcement and first death. A substitute instructor, Sakamochi Kinpatsu, takes the podium and announces that the class has been selected for this year's program. They must kill one another until only one remains. If no one dies for 24 hours, all colors detonate. So, does any column that strings into a designated danger zone, or any column tampered with? The previous teacher, Mr. Hayashida, is shot dead before them by the 3 uniformed soldiers, and his corpse displayed on the podium. Shuya's best friend and orphanage brother, Yusitoki Kumino, cries "I'll kill you," and is shot dead on the spot. Samachi then flying a laugh and pins Fumio Fujitsu to her desk. for whispering to a classmate. Each student received a backpack with food, water, map, compass, flashlight, and a randomly assigned weapon, from combat knife or boomerang to Ingram M10 submachine gun. They are pushed out to door at 2-minute intervals. The game had begun. Part 2, Chaos and Clicks. The timid Yusimo Akamstru ambushed from the school roof, caning Mayumi Tendo with a crossbow. He tried to kill Shuya, who locks him out with a thrown arrow. Hidden Nida then reflexively shoots Aku's dad. Shuya escaped into the forest with a wounded Noriko Nakagawa, determined to protect the girl Yusitoki had loved. Seiji Mimuro, the basketball prodding nicknamed the Third Man, secretly plans rebellion. His uncle, an anti-government activist, taught him how to make explosive. Kiriyama, the genuine delinquent, flips a coin to decide whether to play, and proceeds to execute his own gang members, Kuronaga, Sawagawa, Chukiya, and finally Numa, the first follower whose devotion bordered on religious. Kiriya's emotional volcanic stems from a childhood accident that damaged his limbic system. His ruthless is not malice, but a neurological void. Mitsuko Soma, a beautiful girl forced into prostitution by her own mother since age 9, weaponized her sexuality, killing heartwarming Unichiro Takugutsi, Hirono Seimuzi, Yusumi Yahagi. Her cruelty issues from total childhood trauma. She's a child who has decided to trust no one ever again. The Net House Massacre. Class President Yuki Yusumi gathered 5 girls, Yuka, Takako, Yuki, at the Southern Net House, intending mutual protection. They rescue and bandage the wounded Shuya. Yuki quietly confused her feeling. But after Yusumi's death is announced, paranoia about poison food erupts. The girls turn on one another and all 6 died. Shuya escaped back to Noriko. Mimuro's rebellion. Shiji and his childhood friend Yutaka plot to blow up the school command post. Miroma hacks the government computer downloads the colors blueprints and sample a bomb from diesel and a fertilizer. At the last moment, Sato, paranoid that Miura suspects him, picks a fight. Their voice draw Kiriyama, who guns them both down with a HK MP5. Miura detonates a small charge, but the command post stands. The Kung Fu student, Hiroki, crisscross the island searching for Kayoko, the girl he has loved in silence for years. He repeatedly aids others, repeatedly is misunderstood. When he finally finds her, paranoid, drives Kotaki to empty her assigned Yuzi into him before recognition. As Hiroki died whispering, Kotohiki, I came to save you. Kiriyami, drawn by gunfire, kills him too. Kivada's double identity. The transfer student Shugon, large, heavily scarred, rumored to be a delinquent, joins force with Shuya and Noriko. He claims to be last year's victory from Kobo Junior High No. 2, where he lost his girlfriend, Kiko, and has sworn revenge ever since. He knows firearms, field surgery, and the vulnerability of the program's hardware. He's the trio's tactical brain. Kiriyama, aimed to tease with Mac 10 grenades and cavalry vest, is nearly unstoppable. The three combines, Shira draws him to cliff edge. Noriko grenades the retreat, and Kawada cuts him down at point blank with Mac 10. The perfect man tumbled into the raven, but in the last second, Kiriyama lands a single bullet in Kawada's back, a wound he has. Kawada suddenly raises his weapon and shoots both Shuya and Noriko, declaring himself the victor, and loaded his body into the trunk. But it is performance for the barked column. Kawada is a very hiker who broke into the government computer in March, and he has just used the knowledge to remove Suya and Noriko's columns. The execution is fake. Final. Kawada drives back to port and smuggles Shuya and Noriko onto the moored military ship. Sakamochi has seen through the trick and draws on Kawada, but Shuya and Noriko ambush from Royale. Ingress blazing. Kawada wrests the points away and drives an HB pencil, the one Sakamochi gives them to write we must kill each other, through F's throat. But Kawada's bullet wound from Kiriyama proves fatal. He teaches Suya and Noriko to pilot the ship. squander a couple doctor's address, and dies with a word. I wish for the two of you to trust each other, to love each other, to help each other. This is my wish. The final opens in Osaka, Umando subway station. Disgusted as ordinary teens, Shuya and Noriko are bound to the doctor in Kobo. Then, a fishing boat to South Korea, then America. On the giant station screen, they sing their own faces broadcast as wounded fugitive. And Covado's victory clip, in which he flashes a thumbs up. That gesture in his last message. While police officer recognizes them, Suya joins his Barita M92F and runs hand in hand with Noriko toward an unknown future. His inner monologue, okay, this time I'll play the game and play to win all the way. Actually, even just to read through the plot summary rather than read the book itself, I still feel, how to say that, 鸡皮疙瘩.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Yeah, this book again. This book is very dark, but I think this is a book deserve giving a try. But actually, I don't like dark book.
Goosebumps.
I don't like a tragedy. So theme analysis. Theme 1. How the totalitarian education industrialized children into killers. Love is an important thing, but we don't taught in class. And when family don't taught love as well, how can we expect the children to become a person, an adult full of love? Theme 2. Impossible and impossible to avoid. The only surviving alliance, the trio, rests to Kawada's asymmetric sacrifice. He holds all the truth, takes all the risk, and finally dies for them. True trust is not balanced cooperation, but someone willing to be the first to sacrifice. This is the novel's deepest ethical claim. True trust is not balanced cooperation, but someone willing to be the first to sacrifice. I think who can make it is Shen Xian,
Sages and worthies.
sages and worthies.
Sages and worthies.
Sages and worthies. Theme 3. Love as a last form of resilience. Theme 4. The instrumentalization of the female body. Theme 5. The premature end of youth. Theme 6. The banal and the heroic. My reading reflection. Inside 1. The mutual slaughter as 养蛊 poison bug cultivation. 这种令人不寒而栗的设定，让人想起养蛊这种鬼术。相传，养蛊人把许多毒虫放置在一口大缸中密封一段时间，毒虫们相互吞噬，最后缸中只剩一种毒虫，它就是蛊。Finite resources, collective siege, and the fantasy of individual victory. Inside 2. Warmth belies the cold. 冷射之下是有着暖色的。我以为这是这部作品最大的亮色所在。即使死亡和恐惧成了主基调，仍然有人愿意为了爱情、为了反抗暴政而献出自己年仅15岁的生命。这才是这部作品的灵魂。The winner of history always writes a death story, but the true protagonists of narrative are the losers who almost won. I think maybe that's the charming part of literature. Inside 3, the legitimacy question. 我觉得与其问自己，如果我处在这一场以生死为代价的游戏中，我会怎么做？无力去思考为什么这样的政府能够存在。Why does government exist is a question Hobbes, Locke, Alenter, and Rawls had questioned for centuries. Hobbes' Leviathan posits that humans threat each other and so need a state. But when the state itself becomes the greatest threat, the social contrast has shattered. Inside 4, real humanity in an absurd setup. 作者设定了最荒谬的情景中，却设想了最真实的人性。In real life, we are computing constantly. We just don't put life on the line. 现实生活中，我们无时不刻不在竞争，只不过不以性命相搏罢了。Inside 5, the cost of leadership. 成为领袖其实是一个极有风险的事情，非大善或大恶无法担当。Leadership ethics axiom. Pure moderation cannot lead extreme situation. In a quest, either you must give your life to good or take lives to evil. Both requires an unshakable core, and that core is Royale. Conclusion and insights. Inside 1, totalitarianism's deepest evil is banalization, not violence. Inside 2, trust is a symmetric sacrifice. Inside 3, leadership is a threshold of non-moderation. Inside 4, love is the last form of resistance to tyranny. Inside 5, the reverse use of technology. Inside 6, defamiliarization is the beginning of awakening. Inside 7, I will destroy this country, a romantic and necessary vow. Yeah, that's pretty much about this book. Again, in summary, this is a book very, very dark, making readers uncomfortable, but I think it's a book deserve give it a try. And we must admit it's a classical. Thank you, everyone. Bye.